Have you ever wanted to speak English but felt too shy to open your mouth? Maybe you were afraid of making mistakes, forgetting words, or thinking that people will judge your accent. If that sounds familiar, don't worry, you are definitely not alone.
Millions of English learners feel exactly the same way. The good news is that confidence doesn't come before speaking. Confidence comes from speaking, even if it's just one sentence at a time.
Today, we're going to have a relaxed conversation about how to speak English even if you're shy. We'll share practical tips, common situations, and useful expressions that can help you become a more confident English speaker. All right, Leo, shall we begin?
Absolutely. Let's get started.
Leo, can I ask you something?
Of course.
Have you ever been shy when speaking another language?
Oh, definitely. I think almost everyone has experienced that feeling at some point. Even people who speak English very well sometimes feel nervous when they have to speak in front of others.
That's comforting to hear because many learners think they're the only ones who feel that way.
Not at all. Being shy isn't a sign that you're bad at English. It simply means you're worried about how other people might react.
I think that's the biggest fear for many learners. They're afraid someone will laugh if they pronounce a word incorrectly.
Exactly. But here's something interesting. Most native English speakers aren't listening to find your mistakes. They're listening because they want to understand what you're saying.
That's such an important point.
Imagine you're talking to someone who's learning your native language. Would you laugh every time they made a small mistake?
Probably not. I'd actually admire them for trying.
Most people feel the same way. They respect the effort.
So maybe we're much harder on ourselves than other people are.
I believe so.
Let's imagine a common situation. You're at a coffee shop and you want to order a drink in English.
A situation that sounds simple but can feel stressful.
Exactly. You know what you want to say, but suddenly your mind goes blank.
That happens because of nervousness, not because you don't know English.
Right, it's almost like your brain freezes.
Yes, many learners memorize lots of vocabulary, but when it's time to speak, they panic.
What should they do in that moment?
Keep it simple. Instead of trying to create a long, perfect sentence, say something like, "Hi, I'd like a medium coffee, please." That's enough.
Sometimes learners think every sentence has to sound advanced.
But natural English is often simple. Native speakers don't always use complicated words. They just communicate clearly.
Here's another situation. You meet someone at work for the first time. They smile and say, "Hi, nice to meet you." What should you say?
You don't need a long speech. You can simply say, "Nice to meet you too." Then maybe, "My name's Leo," or "I'm new here." That's already enough to start a conversation.
Many shy people feel pressure to keep talking.
But conversations are shared. You don't have to do all the talking. The other person will usually ask questions too.
That's true. Sometimes we forget that conversations go back and forth.
Can I teach everyone a useful expression?
Absolutely.
Today's expression is, take your time. If someone says, take your time, they're telling you there's no need to hurry. You can think before answering.
That's a wonderful phrase. Imagine you're trying to answer a question and someone says, "Take your time." Immediately, the conversation feels more relaxed.
Exactly. And you can even say it to yourself. Take your time. There's no race.
Let's talk about mistakes because I think that's the biggest obstacle.
I agree. Many learners think if I make one mistake, people will think my English is terrible.
But that's not true.
Not at all. Even native English speakers make grammar mistakes. They forget words, they correct themselves. Sometimes they stop in the middle of a sentence because they're trying to think. That's completely normal.
I've noticed that too. Real conversations aren't perfect.
Exactly. Movies and textbooks sometimes make English sound perfect. Real life is much messier. People interrupt themselves, people change their minds, people laugh, people repeat words. That's normal conversation.
Can I ask you another question?
Sure.
If someone is very shy, should they wait until they feel confident before speaking?
Actually, I'd recommend the opposite. Speak first. Confidence comes later. Think about riding a bicycle. You don't become confident before your first ride. You become confident after many rides. Speaking English works the same way.
That's a great comparison. Practice creates confidence. Confidence doesn't create practice.
Exactly.
Sometimes learners compare themselves with people who speak English fluently.
That's another common problem. They see someone speaking effortlessly and think, "I'll never sound like that."
But they don't see how much practice that person had.
Exactly. Maybe they've been studying for 10 years. Maybe they speak English every day at work. Everyone has a different journey. The only person you should compare yourself with is the person you were yesterday.
I like that. If you know 5 more words than last month, that's progress. If you're less afraid than last week, that's progress too.
Let's practice a little conversation. I'll pretend we're meeting for the first time. Ready?
Ready.
Hi, I'm Leo.
Hi, Leo. I'm Anna. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Where are you from?
I'm from Italy. How about you?
I'm from Brazil. Have you been studying English for a long time?
For about 3 years. I'm still learning, but I'm trying to practice every day.
That's wonderful. What's your favorite way to practice?
I enjoy watching English videos and listening to podcasts. I also try to speak out loud whenever I can.
That's a great habit. Speaking out loud helps your brain become more comfortable using English naturally.
Sometimes learners say, I understand English, but I can't speak. Why does that happen?
Because listening and speaking are different skills. Think about sports. Watching basketball doesn't automatically make someone a basketball player. You have to play. Speaking English is exactly the same. You have to actually speak, even if it's only for 5 minutes every day.
That's excellent advice. And remember, everyone watching, you don't need perfect English to have meaningful conversations. You just need the courage to begin.
One sentence today can become 2 sentences tomorrow, then 1 conversation, then many conversations. Little by little, you'll notice that speaking feels much more natural. You know, Hannah, there's another habit that can make a huge difference.
What's that?
Stop trying to translate every sentence in your head before you speak.
That's a challenge for many learners. They hear a question in English, translate it into their native language, think of an answer, translate the answer back into English, and only then start speaking.
Exactly. By that time, the conversation is already moved on.
So what's a better approach?
Learn simple English phrases as complete ideas. For example, instead of translating word by word, memorize expressions like, I think, in my opinion, I'm not sure. Could you repeat that? I don't remember. These become automatic.
That makes conversations much smoother. You're not building every sentence from zero, you're using pieces that already feel familiar.
Exactly.
Speaking of conversations, let's imagine another real-life situation. You're talking to someone and suddenly they speak very quickly. What should you do?
First, don't panic. Second, remember that it's perfectly okay to ask for clarification.
Can we practice that?
Absolutely. I'll speak a little faster. Hey, we're thinking about grabbing something to eat after work. Do you want to come with us?
I'm sorry, could you say that again a little more slowly?
Of course. I said, we're going to get something to eat after work. Would you like to join us?
Oh, yes, I'd love to. Thank you for repeating that.
See, that wasn't awkward at all.
Not at all. In fact, asking someone to repeat themselves is something native speakers do every day.
Exactly. Sometimes the room is noisy. Sometimes the phone connection isn't great. Sometimes people simply don't hear each other. It's completely normal.
That's actually today's second useful phrase.
Right. The phrase is, could you say that again? It's polite, simple, and extremely useful.
You can also say, could you speak a little more slowly? Or, I didn't catch that.
I didn't catch that doesn't mean you caught something with your hands. It means you didn't hear or understand what someone said.
That's a phrase you'll hear quite often in everyday English.
Anna, do you know something I've noticed?
What is it?
Shy learners often apologize too much.
You're right. They say, sorry, my English is terrible. Sorry, I know my pronunciation is bad. Sorry, I'm not very good, before they've even started speaking.
Exactly. Instead, why not simply smile and start talking? Most people will appreciate your effort.
Your English doesn't have to be perfect to deserve respect. Every conversation is practice.
Let's imagine another conversation. This time, you're meeting a neighbor.
Sounds good. You begin.
Hi, I don't think we've met before. I'm Leo. I just moved into the apartment across the hall.
Nice to meet you, Leo. I'm Anna. Welcome to the neighborhood. How are you liking it so far?
I'm really enjoying it. Everyone has been very friendly. Do you live here with your family?
No, I live by myself, but my family visits often. How about you?
I moved here because of my new job. Everything is still new to me, but I'm excited.
If you ever need recommendations for restaurants or grocery stores, just let me know.
Thank you. That's very kind of you.
Notice something interesting?
What's that?
Neither of us used difficult vocabulary.
Exactly. Simple English can create great conversations. Many learners think fluency means using big words. Actually, fluency often means speaking naturally with simple words.
Let's talk about another fear, having an accent.
That's a big one. Many learners worry that their accent isn't good enough.
But everyone has an accent. Even native English speakers have different accents depending on where they grew up.
That's right. American English sounds different from British English. Australian English sounds different from Canadian English. Even within the same country, accents change from city to city.
So having an accent isn't the problem. Being understood is what matters.
Exactly. Focus on clear pronunciation instead of trying to sound exactly like someone else.
If someone is watching us today and thinking, I'm still too shy, what would you say to them?
I'd say this: don't wait for the perfect moment. The perfect moment usually never comes. Instead, create small opportunities. Talk to yourself while cooking. Describe what you're doing. Read a short article aloud. Leave yourself voice messages in English. Practice with friends. Practice with teachers. Practice with AI. Every little conversation helps.
Those small habits really add up over time. 5 minutes today, 5 minutes tomorrow. Soon you've practiced for hours without even realizing it.
Another important thing is celebrating small victories.
Absolutely. Maybe today you ordered food in English. Maybe tomorrow you asked someone for directions. Next week you might have a 5-minute conversation. Every step matters.
Learning a language isn't about giant leaps. It's about small improvements repeated consistently.
Let's end with one final practice conversation. Imagine we're classmates meeting before class.
Sounds good. Hi, Anna. How's your day going?
Pretty well, thanks. I was a little nervous this morning because I had to speak English during a meeting.
Really? How did it go?
Better than I expected. I made a few mistakes, but everyone understood me.
That's fantastic. Did you feel more confident afterward?
Definitely. I realized that nobody cared about the small mistakes. They were just interested in the conversation.
That's an important lesson. Sometimes the biggest obstacle isn't our English, it's our own fear.
Exactly. Once we stop trying to be perfect, speaking becomes much more enjoyable.
And the more enjoyable it becomes, the more often we practice.
Which means we improve even faster.
Before we finish, let's leave everyone with one final message. If you're shy, don't let that stop you from speaking English. Being shy doesn't mean you can't become fluent. It simply means you may need a little more courage at the beginning.
Remember, every fluent English speaker was once a beginner. Every confident speaker once felt nervous. The difference is that they kept practicing.
So don't be afraid of mistakes. Don't compare yourself to others. Celebrate your progress, no matter how small it seems.
And most importantly, keep speaking. One conversation can change your confidence. One sentence can start a friendship. One simple hello can open the door to amazing opportunities.
We hope today's conversation encouraged you to believe in yourself a little more. If you learned something useful today, we'd love to hear from you. Tell us in the comments, what's one situation where you want to feel more confident speaking English?
We'll be reading your comments, and we'd love to know more about your English learning journey. If you enjoyed practicing with us, please like this video, subscribe to the English Talk channel, and share it with someone who's learning English too.
Thank you so much for spending time with us today. Keep practicing a little every day, stay patient with yourself, and remember that every conversation makes you stronger.
We'll see you again very soon with another real-life English conversation. Until next time, keep learning, keep speaking, and most importantly, keep believing in yourself.
Take care, everyone.
Goodbye and happy learning.